Welcome to a brand new season of TVGP's Critical Misses, the show where Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits, we've missed. I'm your host, Boston, joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hi.
We're going to do a quick twofer here. We're kind of celebrating the top, notice I did not say best, movies of 2022. We have one that is famous, which is not this episode, and we will have one that is infamous, which is this episode. Yeah.
And we figure if we're going to do it, we might as well end with the good one. Because
that's right.
I mean, essentially, we've got what? 3 more recordings in the year of 2022?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, so this'll...
It's too much.
This hit film will close out our 2022, and a much more popular movie will sort of usher in 2023 if you're a patron. Speaking of patrons, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers, I don't know why I said it, you're already here.
If you are a patron at the $5 tier or higher, you can listen to the production meeting for season 18, where we figured out exactly how many movies to cover for this and which movies made the cut and where some of the ones that didn't make the cut go to. And if you haven't listened to it and you're a patron, probably the most explicit one we have put out yet. You really need to listen to like the last half of that one. We come up with a real spicy season that I'm still not entirely sure how we're going to cover.
I keep forgetting that we did that every time. I keep forgetting. You keep bringing it up, and I'm like, what is he talking about? Oh, he's talking about that season.
That one. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna watch Morbius. We're gonna watch 2022's Jared Leto's Morbius, a movie so good it failed in theaters twice. With the studio that does not.
This episode last today, I'm telling you.
Yeah, the movie that shows that apparently movie studios don't understand sarcasm or memes.
No. And then on the flip side, you've got movie chains who don't understand memes, who refuse to let a bunch of teenagers wear suits to go see the despicable meme movies.
That's right. So this one's interesting because I feel like I don't really know Morbius from the comics. I read a bunch of DC stuff when I was a kid. I kind of read half and half. You know, the big Civil War when we were young was, are you DC or Marvel? Like a challenging question. Hey kid, are you DC or Marvel? Don't mess it up. And I feel like I never ran into Morbius.
See, I'm English, so for me it was a you dandy albino.
Okay. Which side of the fence? Which side of the river were you on?
I was a Beano boy.
Okay.
Because they came with candy on the front, not stupid blow whistles.
Well, I mean, I would go with the candy too, man. How could you pass that up? I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad heading into this. I don't really know much about Morbius, who apparently is a doctor and a vampire. Not like a Dr. Acula sort of thing, like a fun kind of thing, but maybe like I used to be a doctor and now I'm a vampire.
So there's the fun part. Is he is referred to as the living vampire.
Oh, opposites. Interesting.
I don't exactly know what that means.
Right.
To be completely honest. All I know is that, he has problems. And I remember seeing the trailers for this and genuinely being curious from the trailers about him as a character. And having used him a lot in Marvel Snap, let me tell you, he's actually pretty powerful.
That's true.
Do we want to talk about the demon in the room?
Wait, is this a DC or a Marvel movie?
This is a Marvel movie, dude.
I got the whole thing wrong. So, okay, I'm a fake comic book fan over here. Sheesh. what am I doing? Someone said, delete your drafts.
Morbius is an archenemy of Moon Knight and Blade, I believe.
Okay. Well, Blade makes sense. Okay.
Yes. And I think he also does battle against Spider-Man as well.
Okay. Was Morbius always trying to skate uphill? Is that his thing?
Yes.
So anyway, let's talk about the 800-pound elephant in the room.
So the ironic thing here is I literally watched the opening to that movie just before hitting you up to start this recording.
Oh, okay.
Because I can't remember what it was. I was listening to something and I got a doodle-doo, and I was like, well, it's rude, so of course. But if I'm going to think of EDM, I'm going to think of the opening to Blade 1.
Oh, man, with the nightclub scene?
Uh-huh.
So good.
Which is so good. And then, of course, you can't think about Blade 1 without thinking of that line you just quoted.
Also, Blade is a really good movie.
It's so good. And Blade 2 is great, too.
I like all three of them. I'm a sucker for... I know 3 isn't really that great, but I still like it.
3 is great in a terrible kind of way. But anyway, yes. Let's talk about the cult leader. Questionable actor in the room.
Yes. 30 Seconds to Mars is Jared Leto. What we have only seen him in one other movie on this show, right? And that was Suicide Squad.
Holy crap, yeah, it was, wasn't
it? Okay. So he was inescapable for a while, so both of us have probably seen him in something else.
Yes, we've seen him in several things. Funnily enough, he's actually in our Twinned movies list.
Okay.
Because he is the actor who plays famous American long-distance runner Steve Prefontaine in one of his biopics.
Ah, okay.
So he is in one of those. We've both seen Fight Club, so we know he's in that too.
Famous for getting the soul punched out of him.
Yes. I just want to say, for the record, by the way, your camera has frozen on me, and it's hilarious because you look terrified.
Oh no! Like, Jared Leto's coming!
Exactly.
Lock your doors!
Let's see. So we've seen him in that. We've seen him in that. We both know. Is he a wrong'un? Do we want to establish that straight away? Alleged wrong'un, Jared Leto?
He is certainly an alleged wrong'un. I feel like every time a piece of news comes out about him, post Requiem for a Dream...
Oh, God! I was going to say, there's the other movie we've seen him in.
Yeah. I feel like everything after Requiem for a Dream, it's a lot of, like, between the lines, thinly veiled, like, he was challenging to work with. And it's like, oh yeah, in what way? And it's like, well, he hunted me down for sport and then sold my teeth on the black market. But, you know, I got a nice set of dentures, so yeah, it's fine. It should be okay. And it's like, wait, what? Wait, what happened to you? Wait, what?
Yeah, and I don't want to talk about the stuff that he gives to, like, the gifts he gives to colleagues.
I feel like the coverage surrounding Suicide Squad and his portrayal of Joker is pretty well documented at this point, and probably fairly infamous, so not something we need to cover here.
Don't worry, we've also got to talk about him again when we do DCEU Season 2.
Right, yeah. So I don't know, it seems like I feel like there are a ton of accusations out there, and a lot of them that have a lot of weight. And seems like he's maybe not the best coworker.
No, he's one of those people who. Oh God, I've just realized I've also seen Blade Runner 2049. He's in that too.
Oh
wow. He's one of those deceptively pretty guys where there's just a creep underneath. Because don't get me wrong, the dude is handsome. He's got the brown hair, blue eyes, angelic features kind of crap. And then you see a video of him with his quote-unquote fans on his quote-unquote island for the retreat thing.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Did you forget about that one?
Yeah, I forgot about the cult. Sorry, alleged cult. Yeah, forgot about that little gem of a story. Yikes.
Not that, you know, it's weird or anything.
And the thing that's always is always odd is I think he's an okay actor. I'm looking through a lot of this stuff here, and like Fight Club, Girl Interrupted, American Psycho, Requiem for a Dream. Like he's been in some stuff that he's been okay in, but I don't think he's the kind of end all be all for a lot of this stuff. I don't think I've seen him in anything where I'm like, wow, man, Jared Leto, just like the role of a lifetime. You know, I don't think I've seen that from him.
In Prefontaine, he plays a pretty boy, egotistical, knows he's good at something, playboy wannabe. So it's about as close to him as you can get.
Right.
I do think he's good in that movie, for the record.
Okay.
I don't know, dude. I don't feel comfortable talking about him because I don't know what to say without getting myself in potential lawsuit territory.
Yeah. Well, and that's the bummer of it is I legitimately do not know who else is in this movie because Jared Leto is the only one that gets talked about. Maybe and I don't even know if it's because of how he plays this character or anything. Like I know the quality of the movie is apparently pretty poor, but I don't even know why that is because it's been memed into the ground as soon as it came out this year of just like, it's Morbin time. Morbius is garbage. You know, like this is the worst movie of the year.
I forgot about Morbin time. Jesus.
Yeah. It took everything in me to not open this show with It's Morbin time. I hope somebody appreciates my restraint.
Yeah. So, here is my big question for you, based on how much you can remember about things.
Okay.
Who made Morbius? What company made Morbius?
This has to be a Sony one, right? Like a Sony Fox.
I was going to say, who were the rubes that fell for the fan reaction?
It's I mean, mentioning that, it's got to be Sony Fox. Like it's got to be.
It is.
It's got to be one of them.
This is a Sony joint.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what MCU movies are Sony owned and operated? We have seen one of them for this show.
I don't know the state of Spider-Man at the moment. I think that's a joint production. I think currently.
It is.
Okay.
Currently, Spider-Man is a joint task force by both Sony and Marvel.
Right. And I think X-Men is still Fox.
X-Men is still Fox, but now Disney owns Fox.
Okay. Wow. Disney owns everybody, so like I think that's a safe assumption at this point. Oh boy. Gosh, I don't know what else anyone owns in the Marvel spider web of films. That was not a Spider-Man pun, by the way.
Yeah, okay, sure. Literally did it for the show, dude. It was a twinned movie.
Oh my god.
Upgrade was the better version.
Oh, Venom. Okay. Yeah. The two Venom movies. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So now my question is do we see any Spider-Man hijinks or do we see any Venom hijinks? Because weirdly enough, Venom is now part of the MCU too.
That's true. I'm going to say probably not because I haven't heard about it. I feel like if this...
You honestly think that a reference in this movie to the other like Sony or Marvel like movies would have made it through the white noise that is how bad this movie is?
Yeah, because I feel like either people would have said like, well, at least they reference Venom. That's a better movie. You could go see that. Or, you know, oh, it was so bad and they couldn't even get a Venom reference right. You know, I feel like there would have been the hardcore Venom stans would have said, well, at least we got a little bit of Venom in there. No big deal. So I don't think so.
I know the answer to that. I haven't seen this movie, by the way. For the record, both of us have not seen this movie.
No. I mean, why would we punish ourselves except for hashtag content?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's gonna be a journey. I mean, I feel like we don't purposely avoid quote unquote bad movies. I feel like this will probably be the largest challenge on this show so far, to try and find the silver lining of Morbius, as we are wont to do, because
So, for
yeah.
research purposes, for part 1 of the show, I googled "it's Morbin time."
Oh yeah.
There was a picture with a smashed passenger side window in a car. Be careful out there, everyone! I had 2 Morbius tickets in my car, and someone broke in and left 4 more.
That's right. Oh man. So yeah, I think that's going to be our big challenge here, is to try and find the silver lining of. I'm going into Morbius expecting a movie that is not entirely competent. I don't want to say it's bad, because it still came out. I feel like if a movie was truly garbage, it would have been like released straight to HBO Max or something. Like they would have been buried under some sort of streaming service. Not saying HBO Max is bad. I'm just saying they would have buried it in a streaming service.
Didn't HBO just cancel like 9 things that were already finished so they could claim them as tax deductible?
Yeah, that's true. So maybe not HBO Max. Shudder, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a vampire movie, so yeah, sure.
Yeah, there you go. Branding. But I'm part of me is curious to see how bad it really is. Is it bad, or is it just an okay movie that doesn't live up to the MCU?
Kind of like Venom. Well, I liked Venom.
Right.
I think Venom was a pretty solid movie.
It's an okay movie. Yeah.
Another meme from the collection here. It's Darth Maul when he reveals his 2 lightsabers. It's 2 still images. One says, "Where's DC movie?" and then he extends the blade, and it says, "Where's Marvel movie?" on the other side too.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Do you have any expectations going in?
I don't know.
Morbid curiosity?
I want to know how much CG Nightmare is going to be in this.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Morbius is not human looking. He looks like a vampire.
Yeah.
A real messed up vampire. He's not an Anne Rice vampire. He's a Hammer horror vampire kind of thing.
That's right. He's more on the underworld side of it than...
Yes. Yeah. No, because they're still pretty too.
Yeah, that's true. They don't really ugly up any of them.
2 vampire.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Bring it full circle.
I don't know, dude. I hope it's watchable.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
I hope we don't come back here and then just spend the 20 minutes ripping it to shreds.
A half-hour long exasperated sigh.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't.
Oh man. All right. Well, on that cautiously optimistic note, let's go watch the film.
No, it's not. Don't lie to the listeners.
On that morbidly curious note, let's go watch the film.
Yeah, it's Morbin time, etc., etc.
Oh no. We are back. We have completed our Morbin. Our Morbin time is... God. We watched Morbius. No, we've completed Morbius. Gosh. Hold on. The first thing I want to talk about here is a surprisingly stacked cast. I'm just going to go down here because there were 3 specific surprises here. So we start off with Jared Leto, who was not
alleged
great.
Rungan.
Yes, alleged Rungan. Jared Leto. I think he was fine, but
fine is the word. Like
he kind of slept through A lot of it. It's such
Felt
a
like it.
it's such a weird performance because like I wouldn't consider his performance bad, but workmanlike maybe. Like he got the job done, but there's no level of like nuance or delicate delivery or just nothing. It is a blunt weapon that's just smacked you. Like
Yeah.
just
Ah.
a wild thing. Next up, the first genuine surprise here, Matt Smith.
Yep.
Doctor Who himself.
I knew he was in this only because of the dancing gif, the scene where he's dancing.
Where he's putting on the suit and tie.
That one was meme to hell, which, by the way, don't wear a tie that's the exact same colors as your suit, as your shirt, please.
A real bold choice. Not one I would go with, but I'm not...
A real bad choice.
It's a real fashionable. Probably the best actor in this movie, and I don't like Matt Smith. Maybe just because of The Crown and how like petulant and whiny he is in that show.
Well, dude, he plays Prince Charles. So
I know, it's sort of like you got what you work with, you know, like. But I feel like he does pretty well in this, and I wish he had a little bit more time to like take the trip from not vampire to vampire.
Dude, like this movie is so quick, and yet still nothing happens.
It's an hour and 45 minutes long. like,
oh my word! Like, okay, so yeah, I mean, you mentioned Matt Smith. Yeah, I like him. I think cast Matt Smith as a villain more, please.
Yeah, like I feel like he plays the like "Ow my blood" stuff pretty well. And then all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, vampire, hiss, ha, cha cha cha. You know, like,
and the CG effects on his face make him look more handsome, so that works nicely.
That's true. I gotta say, there's a real good scene with him later on where he's talking to the other genuinely surprising actor that was in the movie, where he kind of has his back to the doctor, and it very slowly changes from Matt Smith to the vampire. I'm like, all right, that was pretty good.
It was pretty solid. Like, yeah. I will give them credit. Like, the effects were fine. They weren't the best, but they were definitely fine.
Yeah.
And you are, of course, talking about Jared Harris.
Yeah, Jared Harris of Moriarty fame. That's the thing I like him the most in.
Chernobyl fame.
Yes. I mean, he's like an actor. He's like a serious, like, for real. Be like if you put Michael Caine in this movie, it's like, wow, you got like an actor in this thing. All right. But Michael Caine's busy working with the Muppets, probably. But like
No, Michael Caine's busy working with Christopher Nolan. Come on.
That's true. It's true. Jared Harris is not in this a lot, but he kind of does his usual thing, which is like, yeah, I'm a good actor. I'm gonna act in your not very good film.
Can we talk about his best role that he's ever done?
Sure.
He was David Robert Jones in Fringe, dude.
Oh yeah, man! Everybody was in Fringe. Go watch Fringe. It's a great show.
It's an amazing show.
Yeah. I liked the woman who played Martine, Dr. Martine. I thought she was good as, like, literally the only voice of reason in this entire movie. Which is sort of like, what do you...
Partially the voice of reason, dude, because she also leans into the problematic stuff at times.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like hey, you're a vampire.
Nobody in this movie
Vampires
is good.
Kind of cool. Yeah. She's over there being like, vampire bats. I don't know about that, but Dracula.
I'll help you.
He's pretty
cool.
I find him quite romantic, and it's like, nope. That's Jared Leto. Leave him alone. Get off that roof.
Do we want to talk about like
the most surprising? Yeah. Tyrese Gibson is in this movie. Who's like criminally underused in this movie. Like, when I think of Tyrese, I think of like one of the most charismatic actors.
The smile?
Right, like I just think of this like charismatic dude. I did like him working off of his other agent just kind of being like, "Hey, what's up? I'm the good cop. Oh, vampires. Woohoo." Like,
this wasn't good cop, bad cop. This was snarky cop and serious cop.
That's true.
That's what this was.
That's
he
true.
literally puts holy water on the table, dude.
So bad. This movie. Oh my god. Man, this movie is really hard. I will come up here. Here's my thesis statement for Morbius. I don't think it is a very bad movie, but I know it's not a very good movie.
Yes, I agree. This is I tend to like to think of and make notes of what my gut instinct is. Like the second those credits hit, in this case, the third set of credits hit, because it has two post-credit sequences.
It really does, man. Oh boy.
As soon as that second and final credits thing hits, I'm like, okay.
What's your knee-jerk response? Write it down.
Yeah, and my knee-jerk reaction to this one is, eh.
Yeah.
Like, it is fine, but, like...
But come on.
Yeah. Like, you take all of the movies that shouldn't have had a snowball's chance in hell of being good. Iron Man should not have been good. Let's face it. It was a third-tier comic book character that nobody cared about, and it somehow became what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy shouldn't exist as a
talking tree in it. Like, yeah.
Like, and if we're going to keep it to the comic book things, even the cash grabs, we'll talk about Fantastic Four at some point.
Sure.
Those were horrendous throughout, I'm sure. Yeah. I haven't seen Fan-Four-Stick.
Right.
But then you look at First Class. It is arguably, I'm not saying it's arguably the best X-Men movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is unbelievably good. And that was literally only made with a shoestring budget because they needed to keep the contract rights.
Yeah. Morbius, the whole time I'm watching it, Morbius, I was trying to figure the formula for a guilty pleasure, and for me it's a bad movie that I have fun watching. I think that's like a fairly... And there are good movies that I don't have fun watching. Like Schindler's List. That's a great movie. There's not a moment of fun to be had in that movie, but that's sort of the point. Morbius is kind of...
I think Venom is a prime example of a bad movie that is super fun. Like, almost all the way throughout, Venom is super fun. Yep. Which... Yes, I did catch the references in this movie to Venom as well.
I did, yeah. And my forever example is Van Helsing. That's not a good movie, but I have a lot of fun watching it. It's just this kind of fun 90-minute romp, and I was like, oh yeah, look, he's in here. All right, Frankenstein's in here. Yeah, let's do this. All right, that's the Wolfman. Great.
Yeah, it was also because it was before the world of cinematic universes.
That's true. It's also before CinemaSins, thankfully. But Morbius is not a good movie that I did not have fun watching. It has both sides of the coin are bad.
I had like maybe four total moments of quote unquote fun in this.
Okay.
When he says "I am Venom," it's kind of a dumb joke, but
it's pretty good.
I kind of liked it. Mm-hmm. When Milo and the Morb himself are walking down New York Street and they're having a conversation about stuff, and Jared Leto turns around and says, "Look, if you do this again, I'm going to turn around and slowly hobble in the opposite direction." Like, that is a quality line.
That's a pretty good line, yeah.
Like, there's like 4 moments of greatness in this, and the rest of it is just middle of the road garbage.
And like, it's interesting because I think one of the standouts for me is I actually really liked the kind of smoky, swirly effect they used when they were vampires and they're dashing.
Like,
I like
movement.
That, like the trailing kind of tendrils behind them. I thought that was a really cool effect.
It's a good callback to Dracula turning himself to smoke things. Like, it's a really nice little callback.
Yep.
And it's
I
colored so you know which person it is as well, which is a nice touch for visual aids.
I wish that the like echolocation effect was a little bit cooler. I feel like they kind of
Oh,
almost
yeah.
got there, but it sort of didn't do it. Um, I I wish that the Morbius versus Milo fight at the end of the movie was readable at all. I mean, the point
Yep.
was that there was like supposed to be hundreds upon hundreds of bats down there, but I still need to see both of the vampires to
Um,
see the fight.
here's something you might really like.
Hmm.
So I'm assuming we're talking about the CG nightmare fight at the end with the millions
Yes.
of bats.
Yep.
Which we're probably not going to cover this in a step by step because this movie is
No,
just
please spare
it's
spare
it's there.
you and
Um,
us at that
my
time.
my note for that specific fight is, lol, Morbius is Gara.
Yes, 100%. Is
So
I considered it like bat bending to do like an Avatar sort of thing there,
mhm.
but yeah, he's totally Gara with bats instead of sand.
Yep, literally my next note is sand
Yep,
equals bats.
man.
Because for those of you who haven't seen it, go number one, go watch the Rock Lee versus Gara fight from Naruto's like
Yep,
first run. It's
yep.
incredible. You'll know the one
It's
because
a
it's the
great
one
episode.
everybody loves.
Yep.
But you'll know what I'm talking about if you haven't seen it when
Yeah.
I say that Morbius equals Gara.
Yeah, and I it's interesting because it's hard to figure out where this movie kind of failed. I don't really want to point fingers, but it
Oh,
seems like
I
okay,
know,
go ahead.
because I've seen several trailers for this,
Mhm.
and in total, the trailers and the movie share maybe two scenes.
Ah, interesting. Mm.
There is a full-blown conversation in the trailers between Vulture and Morbius
Mhm.
that doesn't take place in the movies.
Wild. Okay.
There is a big conversation between the Doctor and Morbius, and it's one of my favorite lines from the trailers. Like, why it isn't in the movie, I don't know.
Mm.
It's those two talking about the disease, and
Yep.
Morbius asks him, "How far should I go, or can I go to find a cure for this disease?" And the Doctor answers, "Until the cure is worse than the disease." It's a great
That's a
line,
that's a great line for this movie. Come
and
on.
it's not in the movie.
Jeez. And
So
it
yeah, something tells me it's, maybe a little bit of editing issues. Like this
yeah,
thing looks like it got diced.
yeah, it's like a too many cooks in the kitchen sort of thing maybe. And it's frustrating cuz I think so much of it could be good, but there's so much stuff in this movie that is either written or rewritten to the point where all of it is just kind of rote. You know, they're delivering
Mhm.
the lines exactly the lines they're supposed to. You know, the Milo and Michael. By the way, as someone who has that name, there's a lot of people saying Michael in this movie pretty constantly. It's driving me crazy. Um,
Hey,
uh,
I'm a Paul, so don't even start with that.
yeah, exactly. Paul and a Dune fan, like you got it rough.
Uh-huh.
um, but it's just one of those things where it's like you kind of made like a paint by numbers kind of thing. Like this fight is going to happen exactly when it's supposed to. The Doctor and Morbius are going to make out because of course they do. She gives him her blood at the end to beat Milo because of course she does. You know, like it's all you're kind of going down
And
a
she turns into a vampire.
right, which is just like oh god. It's just like all of it. It started off fairly promising, I think, with the flashback stuff between Michael and Milo meeting, and Milo kind of his burgeoning resentment towards both his disease and kind of his lot in life, and getting his momentum towards taking the serum later. but it just kind of never keeps that level up throughout the entire movie. It just kind of phones it in the whole time, and it's a real bummer.
Like, it also really bothers me how many like references they try and throw in here. Like, there's a bunch I missed. Like, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm.
But like we said there's a San Francisco thing. The Daily Bugle is in this.
Oh, okay, I missed that one.
Yeah, when what's his face? When Milo. Too many M's. Just call him Lucian. It's his name.
That's right. That's
right. When he's at the newspaper stand buying a newspaper, he buys a copy of the Daily Bugle, which is
okay.
Spider-Man's newspaper, obviously, J. Jonah Jameson, so on and so forth. I didn't even notice this, but they announced Michael Corvin on the hospital intercom when Michael's in the hospital. Michael Corvin being the vampire werewolf hybrid from the Underworld franchise.
That's fun. I didn't even catch that.
At the start of the movie, they reference a very special school in upstate New York for gifted children.
Yes. Yep. Wink.
Which it's got to be a reference to the X-Men.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Which is probably also explains why we don't see him in school after that point.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, You Won't Like Me When I'm Hungry, which is a reference to the Incredible Hulk.
Yep. Actually, the only thing I meant to look up is one of the scenes that I almost liked, like it almost got there, was when Morbius was going to that like underground money printing lab, which is hilarious. It's just like down this elevator that looks like Destiny 2. Like he goes downstairs and they're just there like making money. I meant to look up what the movie was that they were playing that he references, where it's like, oh, here's when the hooded guy comes in and kicks everybody. Oh man, what's a phalanges? Because I felt like the movie that they had playing behind them might have been something fairly referential, and like that was the first and maybe only kind of notable acting moment from Jared Leto in this. Like he had a little bit of cockiness, he had a little bit of kind of charisma to him as he was going to go do some vampire business on these money printers.
Yep, like
but that went away.
It's
And he did some 3D printing for some stuff. It's just like
he literally made a centrifuge out of a printer, which is hilarious to me. It's like, okay, we get it. He's a technical genius.
Yeah. Also, like, it's trying to bring full circle the fact that he fixed one of those blood machines in the intro with like the spring of a ballpoint pen. It's like, come on, man, for real.
Because it's a fuse. Like he literally changes a fuse. Like that's not like mad scientist stuff. I could do that.
Yeah,
I know that as long as it carries current, it will go through the fuse.
Yep.
Like that's why a fuse exists, is for safety reasons. So if you put a ballpoint like spring in there, it's going to just carry the current and it's going to cause accidents or potentially cause accidents. But still, it's a fuse.
Right.
Everybody knows what a fuse is.
Yeah. I'm struggling to think of much else that is super notable. I did like when Matt Smith, I think it's at like the halfway point of the fight between Milo and Morbius, where Milo knocks down Morbius and he does like almost like a little like a moonwalk kind of thing as a vampire. And it's like, all right, that was pretty, like you're having a little bit of fun with the movie, which is I think probably the direction this should have taken, instead of just being like this dour
lean into the
thing.
Goofy. Like, just lean into the Goofy all the way. Like, he's called the living vampire.
The next thing he does is he flies in front of a subway train on the air currents. Like, lean into how stupid this is. Like, have a little bit of fun with it. Yeah, I just... It's easy to see where this could have been better, but it's also easy to see where this just doesn't come out. and it would have been fine. Because, like, we
Uh-huh.
talk about the two post credits or like mid credit sequences where it's essentially like, hey, did you see that much better Spider-Man movie? Yeah, Vulture is here. It's still Michael Keaton, and then they're teaming up to do villain
So
stuff.
good.
Yeah, which is
Which
just
okay, I do like the fact that his suit isn't alien powered anymore. Like it looks like it's jet engine powered, the Vulture
yeah,
suit,
that's true.
which is a nice little touch on the redesign. I don't like the redesign of the mask, but sure,
No,
whatever. But there are a lot of little touches. Like anytime Milo goes near the bat containment facility, the bats fly away from Milo. Anytime Morbius goes near it, they come to him.
yeah, they like follow
Um,
him around the room. Yeah,
like it's a nice little thing, but like I want to know what happened to Rome's mechanical arm, which is in the trailer. He has a robot arm in one of the trailers.
yeah. The Wikipedia page is like, yeah, they cut all that out. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Oh, okay, cool. He does some like cool action stuff for a minute when Morbius attacks the two of them as he's trying to escape the lab.
Yep.
But and they have like a your research saved my life in Afghanistan, and Morbius is like, yeah, cool, nerd. It's like, what the hell? What?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with you, vampire?
It's like
Um,
I don't know how to feel about this. Like it is just bleh,
yeah,
bleh.
it's just I feel like it's interesting because unsurprisingly the internet has over exaggerated the badness of this movie,
Mhm.
which sure, like I like a joke and all. I was expecting to go into this movie and see something kind of truly unwatchable, but
Mhm.
it's not quite that bad. It's something. It reminds me of something that you would watch on like a lazy Saturday when it's raining and it's on TBS, and you're like, it's on. The remote is kind of across the couch. It's fine. Maybe I'll take a nap in the middle, but like, it's nothing where you're like, ugh, oh god, I gotta get this off my TV. There's nothing like that, but like, there's just so much of it just misses the mark at every opportunity, and it's
Like, how does this come out? Essentially within a calendar year of No Way Home, and you haven't seen No Way Home yet, right?
that's the most recent one, right?
Correct.
Yes, I have. No, I've seen. Yes, I've seen No Way Home. Yeah,
That's the one with the. That's the one with the purple crack in the sky.
is that the one with Mysterio?
Nope.
Okay, I have not seen the one with Mysterio. I've seen the most recent one that results in Vulture coming over to
Okay.
this movie.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
Way Home is one of the best comic book movies I've ever seen in my
It's
life.
legitimately very good. It's also very long, but it earns it
Mhm.
throughout.
And it also kind of does lean a little bit into knowing your history and having seen a lot of the movies beforehand.
Yep.
But we're nerds. We were teenagers in the 90s and noughties. Like, so of course we've seen all of the Spider-Man movies.
That's right. That's right.
Like, of course. But it's one of those things where it's like, how does this come out the same year as essentially as that movie? Like it's I mean, are they trying? Why isn't Spider-Man in here if you're trying to link this into the Spider-Man universe? Because
Right.
Morbius is an anti-hero these days, but the problem you've got, and I'm fine. Make a film about a villain. I am fine with that.
Sure. Yeah, let's do more of that. Like that's a great idea.
Make me hate somebody. Give someone a movie where I can specifically hate that person forever. Make them a justified villain. I mean, if you look at the like Avengers movies, Endgame Part 1, or no, Infinity War Part 1 and 2 is a Thanos movie. That's not movies about the Avengers. That's
Right.
movies about Thanos.
Right. He gets to be more than a JRPG villain being like, I wish to reshape the world. And it's like, yeah, you all do. Like, okay, cool, great. We'll just defeat you. Great.
Like That's 2 movies dedicated to a villain that happen to have a bunch of our heroes in.
Right.
Endgame is the movie about the heroes. Like that's the flip point of it.
Right.
Whereas this is like is he an anti-hero? Is he a hero? Is he a villain? Like what is he? Because none of this is clear at all.
And they have such a clear blueprint of, like you said, with the line from the trailer, like the two of them, being Michael and Milo, having this rare blood disorder and coming up with a genuine solution that lets them reclaim their life, as they are saying. I'm not saying that. And then having the cure kind of be worse than the disease in some instances. There's no real struggle with that. Like, there's a little bit of line, like, you almost want to feel for Morbius in this thing, where it's like, yeah, your life wasn't as complete as you wanted it to be before you found this cure, and the cure is just, like, splicing vampire bat DNA into his own, which I'm sure, like, a real geneticist would have a field day with. But you never really... They never go far enough that you feel for Morbius. He's just like, well, every time I take artificial blood, the time gets, less and less. And it's like, okay, like, sure. Is that, so what's the solution here? Are you just gonna like chug a blood shake every 2 hours and call it a day, or like, what's the concern here?
Yeah, the whole blue versus red argument is just like, whatever.
And it's interesting because this feels more like what DC has been putting out for its movies. And like we found out in a couple of seasons ago, there's a couple of really good movies in there, and there's a couple that are exceptionally terrible. But like, this feels more aimless, like the DC movies are, where it's like, we're gonna try this, we're pulling in Superman's in this one? No, wait, Batman? Oh yeah, Batman's in this one too, and Wonder Woman's in the background? Which one works for you guys? And it's just like, you're kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, and that feels a lot like what this movie is, where it's like, a living vampire? What do you guys think of? No, okay, bye. Like, it just, it doesn't, it feels like they don't have a point to it, which maybe is the brain poison from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is kind of the big criticism of movies nowadays is audiences continually looking for, where does this tie into the picture? What am I supposed to watch this after or before, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I think it's a mix, because I think audiences like that. You are not wrong there. I definitely do like that. I'm not going to lie. I love it when like there's 5 movies and I can watch them back to back. I literally watched Black Widow this weekend because I was like, oh, crap. Like, there's a couple of new Marvel movies coming out that I'm really interested in, but I have missed the build-up of 4 TV shows. And
you want that investment.
Yeah. So I enjoy that. I genuinely do. It can get a little rote and exhausting, clearly, because I'm like 4 years behind or whatever it is at this point.
Right.
But I still like that. But at the same time, you give me an Interstellar where it's just a single one-off movie that I can get invested in for 2.5 hours, and then either A, never think of it again, or B, in Interstellar's case, think of it every week for the rest of my life.
Right.
Like, that's fine too. But I think the problem is studios see what Marvel did. This is what DC did, definitely. They saw the 7 or 8 zeros after the profits had made
of the 3 movies they release a year, and they're like, I want to make $56 billion a year times 3.
So they see that and they think, well, that's what they want for everything. So
I have the Mummy. Chasing. We'll start that. And it's just like, no, stop. Bad.
Exactly. Like, we don't need I would kill for a Dark Monsters universe, especially with the people they got cast in that movie.
For sure. Yeah.
That would be great. But the problem is if they don't see like that kind of return of investments, like the bajillions of dollars, they're not going to keep doing it. And that's fine too.
It's funny because every time they look at this, like, you can see DC and you can see, I think Universal put out the Monsters universe.
Yes, the Dark Monsters universe.
They they put one of them out, and they're like, huh? What if we bring Tom Cruise back as this guy again? It's like, yeah, sure. I mean, that could be pretty fun, without remembering the first X-Men movie did not do super well originally, and the first Iron Man movie did not do super well originally. It only did well after they put out 15 more of them, and everyone's like, well, now I have to have the Blu-ray deluxe box set of Phase 1. And it's like, yes, now we can print that money.
Yeah, because that Phase 1, but I hate all of those box sets because they look so great, and I want them all, and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like, we don't need it constantly linked into everything else. And I hate to phrase it this way, especially considering the topic at hand for this movie. It feels like this movie doesn't have a soul.
But I think you're right. It feels very much like
it's a paycheck movie. It feels like a
this
is what you want, pay us.
It feels like a trademark continuation movie where it's like, look, I have to put out a Marvel movie this year, otherwise we lose the license. Jared Leto is available. God, I guess we'll put him in a movie as a vampire. Okay, great. Like, it feels like a lot of like, you will do this, I guess. Sure, God. All right, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is like, I literally just Googled like highest grossing superhero movies, and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The top 9 are Disney-owned properties, and all but one of them are MCU movies.
Right.
The other one is The Incredibles 2. Weirdly enough,
that is odd. And this movie made, it looks like, all together around $70 million. So yeah, $73 million and 93 worldwide, or in other territories. So like, it made okay money, but there are 3 less zeros behind that.
The question.
Yeah, I was trying to find that as we're looking here, but it just $75 million. So they made back about double, but you know, it's not 1.6 billion, it's 176 million. So they're just like, well, not meeting projections. It underperformed. It's like, yeah, well.
And like, the worst part about this as well is I am sick of, part of what I'm sick and fed about with online culture these days is this us or them BS mentality. I almost swore then, by the way. This, you either gotta love it or hate it kind of thing. Like, Morbius has a 15% tomato meter. Now, for those of you who don't know, that means around about 85% of the people who reviewed it negatively. That doesn't mean it's a 15% out of 10. It means,
yeah, they didn't give it like a 1.5 out of 10. 85% of critics were like, you should not go see this movie.
Yeah, and it has an audience score of 71%. I can't trust that number.
Well, that's why I pulled up Letterboxd. Letterboxd user reviews have it at a 1.9. That seems more reflective of, I'm sure there's still plenty of kind of meme reviews in there of like, it's the greatest thing since someone put butter on toast. That 71% is very much people being like, it's my favorite movie of the year. Wink. It's like, sure. Yeah. Great.
Dude, listed in the very first set of goofs. A doctor, but probably not a Hollywood screenwriter, would know that the palm of one's hand is a very stupid area to cut for blood, as many tendons and muscles run there and are very important in daily life.
It's fair. It's fair.
Like, I'm sorry, but like some of these reviews, this is not a 7 out of 10 movie. It's just not.
Yeah, and like, that's fine. It's okay that it's not.
I would have actually, one review here, which is 3 out of 10, brings up a very good point, which is please make it R-rated. Yes,
sure. It's just lean all the way into it.
Movie.
Yeah.
Like, how much does it take to get like an R? This is PG-13 about a vampire. Like,
yeah.
Has Deadpool taught you nothing?
Apparently not. Man. Well, Morbius. Spent less than 2 hours with you, and that was 2 hours too many. We do. Thankfully, we covered the infamous movie first. We will be watching what is reportedly a better movie next time, and we hope you will join us. So thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.